Good morning, y'alls. All right, so it is Monday. Yes, it's Monday, and we'll talk about separation between church and state. And that is a phrase that's been going around for a couple of decades now. You know, people are like, "Oh, there's separation between church and state." It's in the United States. Let me say that. And it is not in the Constitution. Okay. It is not. Well, it implies. Well, it does imply something. But this is the deal, is that the separation between church and state was basically because King of England was enforcing a particular church denomination over another one. And see, this is why we have the First Amendment, is that we can choose which church we want to go to. If you're Baptist, you want to go to Baptist. If you're Catholic, you can go to Catholic. It doesn't matter. It's not an imposition on which church you can go to. Boom. It's that simple. But see, a lot of people want to take church out of the state. Let's look at the phrase church, or separation between church and state. And I've actually been doing studying on eternal life. And man, wow, there's some crazy stuff in there, okay? And I'll get to it at some point. But one of the phrases that you have to look at when you're studying eternal life is called death. Now, a lot of people have said, well, death is separation between you and God. Well, I didn't quite understand that phrase. What does that phrase mean? Death is separation. Okay. Let me put it this way. There is a separation that occurs at death, at your human death, which is the separation between your inner man and your outer man. Your inner man, which is your spirit and soul, will leave your body. Your body dies and decays, and your spirit man, your inner man, will go somewhere. Okay, got one or two places. You either have eternal life or eternal death at that point. I like what Dr. Summerall said, death is the great equalizer. Every man is equal upon death. Anyway, some other things starting to come to me. I got to get back to separation between church and state. So if we use that word separation as a form of death, it's starting to click in some of y'all now. Death between church and state. We start separating ourselves between church and state. There is a death between church and state. And many nations have died by separating themselves from the church and from God. Now, I know this really throws a lot of people in this country in a tither. Okay? Well, there is no God. Well, if you think so, so be it. Okay? If you think all this occurred out of an accident, that two dust particles or anomalies in space collided together out of nowhere. I mean, they just happened. Two anomalies happened. Bang. You have a lot more faith than I do. But, separation. So if we look at separation between church and state, basically there is a death between church and state. And like I said, many nations have died separating themselves from God. Now, why is that? I'm thinking, a couple of years ago, I was thinking, if the union, this union of the United States of America wants to go secular, go all out. Don't just do part, go all out. If you wanted to define the marriage between two people and not between a man and a woman, go all out. And I was like, don't just say that it's a union between two people. I'm like, you're getting into God's business now. Separate yourself from that. Say, hey, I mean, because the union between man and woman has been around a lot longer than the United States of America. We've only been here for 200 years. That is like that. Even in 1,000 years, that is like that. That's not even a third of 1,000 years. So if you want to separate between church and state, abolish marriage. Let marriage between two people, okay, be in the church where it was established. And then support civil unions. If that's what it takes, that's what it takes. If you're going to secularize things, hey, marriage has nothing to do with church. I mean, with the state. Go ahead. Go all out. Say, hey, we're not going to recognize marriages at all. We will recognize civil unions, but we will not recognize marriages. Marriage can be done in your church, and this is actually the way it's done in the United Kingdom. There is only one state that you can have a church. I mean, one church that you can have a union in. And you don't have to go get a civil union. You actually have to go, if you want to get married publicly in the Church in England, you have to do. No. I'm already jumping ahead of myself. You have to do it in the Church of England. If you want to get married in a Catholic church, you have to go first and have a civil union done before a judge or justice of the peace or whatever it is, so that the state will recognize your marriage. And then you go and do a formal ceremony in the Catholic Church or in a Protestant church or in a charismatic church or in a Baptist church. So why not do it in America? The whole thing, gone. Marriage, no more. We will see civil unions, yes. We will recognize civil unions, yes. That's just a thought I've had. I mean, we're talking over 10 years ago. Recently, I thought, well, hey, if you want to separate church and state, because in the state of Louisiana, they passed a law that you can put up a plaque of the 10 Commandments, because this is the foundations of our law, that you can put up a plaque where it says, thou shalt not kill, murder, blah, 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 all the way down, right? Recognizing the 10 Commandments. And of course, here we go. It was supposed to be done, it's supposed to be coming up in January, in a few weeks from now. And they started the lawsuits. ACAL, ACAL, whatever, is an oxymoron. Okay? They need to change it to something else. American Civil Liberties Union. That's a bunch of bull. It's American left-wing union. It's what it boils down to. American Communist left-wing. Because they are very narrow-minded. I'm saying that publicly. Come after me. That's fine. I've got nothing to lose. You can't get any money out of me. So, we have all that, and I'm thinking, well, if you want to separate between church and state, by all means, go all the way out. We're not just talking marriage. We're talking, hey, the 10 Commandments. Take the 10 Commandments out of the law. Take them out. Thou shalt not kill, or thou shalt not murder. Actually, it's murder, and there's a difference. Thou shalt not murder. Take it out. Let's go full Monty here. Just take out that and let people start killing on the streets and not do anything about it. Separation, or the death between church and state. Take it all out. Come on. You ain't got enough gonads to do that. Take it all out. Take all of the laws out. There's my 10-minute warning. By all means, do it. You want to separate the union between church? Take it all out. Take away your First Amendment. Take away your Second Amendment. Take it all out. But see, all of these were inspired by what? The church. And if you take every law in our union out that was inspired by the church, what will you have? You will have total death and destruction. I know that is very encouraging on the Monday morning, Brother Keith. Mr. Keith, that is very encouraging. I know, I love it too. I guess it's more of a rant than anything. So go ahead, take the church out of the state, and then let's see what happens. I think that's coming very soon, to be honest with you. We might not be around when it happens, but I think it's coming soon. So look, think about that. Something to ponder on. Think about it. You lawmakers, think about it. You know, give honor where honor is due. First of all, hey, Moses, this is from the Mosaic Law. I will give Moses, if even that. You don't have to give God credit, just give Moses credit for it. Hey, Moses said, we will not murder each other. These are standards that we're standing by. I don't care. But see, some of you don't even want to give Moses a credit. So look, think about that, ponder on it. Who knows how much trouble I will or will not get in. I got nothing to lose. So you guys listen, be encouraged, be blessed, and have a wonderful day.